special night. Thank you so much for being here. That was one hell of an introduction, I'll tell you. I think probably before you heard all that, you thought that was just another pretty face. But so what's so damn rough about this?
Sure.
What's so rough about this? It's diving into rough stuff. Look at this, dude. I'm really thrilled to be here. This is a great honor for me. After all this that I've heard tonight, I'm just almost speechless. And I think maybe some of you probably hope I will eventually be that. And I might. I've been having some laryngitis problem. But I have this favorite T-shirt, and on the front of it says, what does it say? Oh yeah, it says we had to get rid of the children. Cat was allergic. So I think now I'm going to have to get another shirt that says, the older I get, the better I used to be. I don't remember some of that stuff. I think of all the athletic activities that I was involved in, golf was the most difficult. I mean, as I said earlier, I didn't start playing until I was 41 years old. And when you wait that long, it's just really hard to get very good at it. But if that's what you're trying to do, then it helps a lot if you have someone to give you some support. Really give you some encouragement. It can be a friend, or for me it was my wife, Kathy. She always supported me in everything I ever tried, anything I ever wanted to do. Except for those several times I wanted to buy a motorcycle. So I probably ought to thank her for that. She probably saved my life several times. But we were out playing when I first started trying to learn how to play. And I just kept hitting one bad shot after another. And finally, I said, Kaki, I just don't think I have the patience to play this game. She said, well, Tom, you should have plenty left. You've never used any. Now, she was usually a little more supportive than that. But Kaki just kind of calls it like she sees it. I think it's time I cut the chase and got down to what's really important here tonight. And that is to thank some people, starting with the Hall's Board of Directors, the Selection Committee, Jim Harris. Jim Harris called me about this 4 months ago. I don't know if he just was aware of my intellectual incapacities and he thought I needed that much time to prepare, which actually is pretty much the case. At any rate, I have just never known anyone that was just so accommodating and pleasant to do business with. And Jim, wherever you are, I appreciate that. But not a heck of a lot of that going around nowadays. Joe Carson, we've been best friends since I was 8 years old. And it's my understanding that he, along with some cohorts, some of whom we know who we're talking about here, are responsible for my nomination. And Joe, I want to thank you for that, but I got to tell you, buddy, I began to wonder if you were ever going to get around to it. I hope you know I'm just joking about that. It never occurred to me. I just would never have thought that something like this would happen. There's just so many friends here that I need to thank. Kathy Whitworth, she is, I can tell you, I know a little bit about her schedule. And it would bring a healthy 20-year-old to his knees. and yet she has found the time and the energy to be here with us. And I think I speak for everybody, Kathy, when I say thank you. I have my wonderful two friends, Ian and Francis Dawkins, all the way here from New Orleans. And there are just 100 people out here that I would like to mention, but time won't permit that. But I would be remiss in not mentioning two of my brothers that are here tonight. And they already told some of my good stuff, so I'll have to skip through that. Euless, probably better known in his Lovington days as UD, and on occasion was known as something entirely different than that whenever a jeweler made a mistake engraving UD. I shouldn't tell this later. On his cufflinks. He got a graduation present cufflinks, and he went to pick them up, and it was VB. Now this jeweler swore that V was the Greek equivalent of our U. I'm telling you, never did convince you to do that. He's always been my best friend, and a man that I just really respect and admire. And he's a gifted athlete in his own right. He's a tremendous tennis player, and he is a world-class swimmer. He even saved my life late one night. coming home from a rodeo, but we're not going to get into that.
Thank you, Doc.
Most of you here tonight know Ross. Ross was my track coach when I was a senior in high school. And to say that Ross was a great coach would be a pretty large disservice to him, an understatement. He was certainly that and a lot more. We probably shouldn't be doing this, should we? Anyway, Ross was probably one of the most dedicated guys I've ever known, not just to his teaching or coaching, but anything he ever did. He was dedicated and determined to do it right. And that's what he did. And he was a really good role model. He didn't smoke, he didn't drink, and he didn't swear. And consequently, I don't do any of those things either. Well, we can get away with that one. I don't smoke. Ross spent countless hours with me, just in an effort to help me get better and improve. And he built a foundation that I had to lean on quite a bit in the future because he was really the only real track coach that I ever had. I had other track coaches. I had a track coach later, as Ross mentioned, that was considered the best track coach in the country. But he didn't know very much about the field events. Now, I'm not trying to be critical of my old coaches, I'm just telling it like it was. He didn't know diddly squat about field events. And he had this really annoying habit. This stadium where we worked out had a pole pit on one side of the track, and he did business on the other side. I mean, like way back over there. And anytime he wanted to communicate with me, he would just holler at me. I mean, it's like 150 yards over there. Didn't bother him one bit. He had this booming voice that would just reverberate throughout the neighborhood. And he would say, "Tom, let the pole do the work. Let the pole do the work." Only thing he ever told me for 2 years. I suspect that everybody in that neighborhood for 2 years wondered what the hell that meant. I know I did. I couldn't quite grasp this concept. This pole was supposed to be doing all this work. It was nothing more than a 16-foot long piece of steel pipe, actually. It was a thin wall pipe. Now, this was just before the advent, the introduction of the fiberglass pole. But let the pole do the work really was not the only thing Coach ever hollered at me. He would also holler across there and say, Tom, get over here and run these 330s. Well, now I'm dragging a little bit here, I know, but I do have a point I'm going to come to. That meant I had to run 330 yards as fast as I could. Then I was allowed to walk 50 yards. I never quite got that ratio there, but that's the way it was. Run another 330, walk another 50. Well, he would make us do that and just it was that close to dropping dead from exhaustion. I think probably in hindsight we weren't near as close to death as we thought, but at the time it felt like it. Well, sometimes it was worse, sometimes it was 440s or 660s. Now you think about that, when he makes you run 10 660s, it's a long way. But on this particular day, it was 330s, and he hollers over there at me again, Tom, get over here and run these 330s. Well, just hollered right back over there at him. I said, no thanks, Coach. I'm going to hold with that. I found out right away he didn't have any sense of humor. As I recall, I ran a lot of 330s that day. There are a lot, excuse me, my mouth is really dry. Here, a little water, maybe. There are a lot of my friends and family here tonight, and many of them have come a long way to be here on my behalf. Thank you. And to help make this possible. You know, this is giving Mission Impossible holding a meeting. But this is just such a great honor for me. I want to thank each and every one of you for allowing me to be here and to be a part of this. It is just something I will always treasure. Thanks again. I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening.